What's up guys, this is Melgail and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Our topic for today is all about Raspberry Pi. Before we proceed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you will be updated every time I post new videos. What is Raspberry Pi? The Raspberry Pi is a low-cost, credit card-sized computer that plugs into a computer monitor or TV and uses a standard keyboard and mouse. It is a capable little device that enables people of all ages to explore computing and to learn how to program in languages like Scratch and Python. It's capable of doing everything you'd expect a desktop computer to do, from browsing the internet and playing high-definition video to making spreadsheets, word processing, and playing games. What's more, the Raspberry Pi has the ability to interact with the outside world and has been used in a wide array of digital maker projects, from music machines and parent detectors to weather stations and tweeting birdhouses with the infrared cameras. We want to see the Raspberry Pi being used by kids all over the world to learn to program and understand how computers work. History and background of the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a credit card-sized computer designed and manufactured in the UK with the initial intention of providing a cheap computing device for education. Since its release, however, it has grown far beyond the sphere of academia. Its origins can be found in the University of Cambridge's Computer Laboratory in 2006. Computer scientist Evan Upton, along with Rob Mullins, Jack Lang, and Alan Mycroft, were concerned that incoming computing undergraduate students had grown divorced from the technical aspects of computing. This was largely due to school syllabuses that placed an emphasis on using computers rather than understanding them. Off the back of this initial concern, the Raspberry Pi Foundation was formed. Over the next 6 years, the team worked on developing a cheap and accessible device that would help schools to teach concepts such as programming, thus bringing students closer to understanding how computing works. Comparison of different Raspberry Pi versions. First is the CPU. Model B Plus have a 700 MHz single-core ARM117-6J ZFS processor. In the later model, Raspberry Pi 2 have a 900 MHz quad-core ARM Cortex-A7 processor. Compared to the Model B Plus, Pi 2 have more speed and much more suitable for multitasking because of its quad-core processor. In the recent version, Raspberry Pi 3, the CPU is a 1.2 GHz 64-bit quad-core ARM Cortex-A53 processor. Pi 3 has more processing power compared to Pi 2 and Model B Plus, and also it is capable to run 64-bit systems. However, the current version of the operating systems are still 32-bit. Second is the GPU. All the hardware versions of Raspberry Pi uses Broadcom Video Core 4 GPU, except the latest Pi 3 is clocked at 400 MHz. There are certain limitations of the GPU applications and usage of the Raspberry Pi compared to the high-end smartphone GPUs. It has a theoretical maximum processing power of 24 GFLOPs. And the last one is the memory. Raspberry Pi 1 Model B Plus uses 512 MB of SD-RAM, whereas 2 and 3 uses 1 GB of SD-RAM. One important difference between 2 and 3 is that Model 2 has 450 MHz of RAM, whereas Pi 3 has 900 MHz of RAM. It's obvious from the above considerations, Pi 3 has more leverage than Raspberry Pi 2 in terms of performance and speed. So the conclusion, Raspberry Pi 3 has more leverage compared to the previous versions. As it costs the same price, There is no clear reason why someone should go for Raspberry Pi 2 or Model B+. Also, it has an onboard Wi-Fi and Bluetooth modules. This gives more access to connectivity and more use for your IoT project applications. All these three versions have the same number of GPIOs. I will give 5 examples of application or projects using Raspberry Pi. Number 1 is Home Automation System. A home automation project is arguably one of the best Raspberry Pi projects for senior developers. All those skills and experiences that you have been gaining all these years will come together to automate your home appliances and will make your friends drop their jaws at the same time. You can handle such home automation Raspberry Pi projects in numerous ways. Adding an Arduino board may accelerate further power to the system. Number 2. Build a full-fledged desktop computer. Chances are you have already got multiple systems if you're reading this guide. However, even so, getting a full-fledged desktop computer out of a cheap Raspberry Pi should ring excitement bells in your ears. It is arguably one of the best Raspberry Pi projects for system enthusiasts, as they will gain first-hand experience on how to build a system from almost ground zero. If you have a keen interest in Raspberry Pi projects involving computing, we recommend you check this project right now. Number 3. Build a smart TV. Any old PC, monitor, and a Raspberry Pi computer are all that you'll need to build one of your own. This is definitely among the best Raspberry Pi projects for improving your home entertainment system. We highly suggest you take on such Raspberry Pi projects if you've got an extra piece of monitor lying around idly. Number 4. Retro Gaming Machine. Who don't cherish the old times when we passed our days playing those classic retro games? How does it sound to build a retro gaming console just with your cheap Pi board? We know this is among the best Raspberry Pi projects ever for old school gaming geeks like me, and encourage you wholeheartedly to take on this mesmerizing project. If you are looking for Raspberry Pi projects involving gaming, dive into this project right away. Number 5. Build a Raspberry Pi Twitch bot. Twitch is a live video streaming platform used worldwide for streaming live shows and events. You can make a Twitch bot and stream your own videos with it, using the old Raspberry Pi board you've got lying around. It's one of the best Raspberry Pi projects that can make you a superstar among friends. The Raspberry Pi components. The Raspberry Pi device looks like a motherboard, with the mounted chips and ports exposed, but it has all the components you need to connect input, output, and storage devices and start computing.
Here are the various components on the Raspberry Pi board.
ARM CPU or GPU. This is a Broadcom BCM2835 system on a chip that's made up of an ARM central processing unit and a video core for graphics processing unit. The CPU handles all the computations that make a computer work, and the GPU handles graphics output. GPIO. These are exposed general-purpose input-output connection points that will allow the real hardware hobbyists the opportunity to tinker. RCA. An RCA jack allows connection of analog TVs and other similar output devices. Audio out. This is a standard 3.55mm jack for connection of audio output devices such as headphones or speakers. LED. For all of your indicator light needs. USB. This is a common connection port for peripheral device of all types. Model A has one and Model B has two. HDMI. This connector allows you to hook up a high-definition television or other compatible device using an HDMI cable. Power. This is a 5V micro USB power connector into which you can plug your compatible power supply. SD card slot. This is a full-size SD card slot. An SD card with an operating system installed is required for booting the device. Ethernet. This connector allows for wired network access and is only available on the Model V.
Price comparison. All three models
Of Raspberry Pi cost around $35. Model B Plus was launched in July 2014, where Pi 2 and 3 was launched in February 2015 and 2016. Although the Pi is cheaper, there are some hidden costs involved when you buy one. You need a microSD card for loading the Raspbian image, keyboard, mouse for controlling the Pi, HDMI cable for display, and a Wi-Fi dongle or Ethernet cable for internet connectivity. For Raspberry Pi 3, therein an onboard Wi-Fi module and Bluetooth module. This is an advantage of buying the Pi 3 compared to previous versions of Raspberry Pi.
Now, let's discuss all about the new Raspberry Pi version 4.
Raspberry Pi has long been the gold standard for inexpensive single-board computing, powering everything from robots to smart home devices to digital kiosks. The long-anticipated Raspberry Pi 4 takes Pi to another level, with performance that's good enough to use in a pinch as a desktop PC, plus the ability to output 4K video as 60Hz or powered dual monitors. The most important new features are the faster processor and GPU, more and faster RAM, the addition of USB 3 ports, dual micro HDMI ports instead of a single HDMI connection, and support for 4K output. The higher bus speed that enables USB 3 supports also allows onboard Ethernet port to support true gigabit connections, where the last-gen models had a theoretical maximum of just 41 Mbps. The microSD card is also twice as fast, offering a theoretical maximum of 50 Mbps versus 25 Mbps on the 3B+.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have learned something in this video. Please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!